Baltimore. The NFL on CBS continues. The Steelers and the Ravens, many call it the greatest rivalry in the NFL today. Houston and New England have already clinched postseason berths today. The Ravens could join them with a victory here this afternoon. Hello, friends. Jim Nance and Phil Simms here in Baltimore. And again, we're going to see the Steelers needing to stay in there today if they can without Roethlisberger for the third straight week.
Yeah, Charlie Bat's going to make his second start. He did not play well last week. And the main reason is he just didn't throw the ball physically well. He said he had a good week of practice. The coaches agreed. I think he'll play much better here today than he did in Cleveland last week.
Of course, the Steelers have lost the 2 games without him, as Jacoby Jones is ready and waiting for that kick. And this game broadcast in Spanish where available using the SAP button on your television. So Squeezem will be sending it down to the Ravens. Pittsburgh won the coin toss, but elects to take the football in the third quarter. And Squibber gets past Jones, so he'll just take the knee. And we'll bring out Flacco and company to the 20-yard line. Joe Flacco, he's had good success against the Steelers. Won his last 3 starts, and already there's a skirmish on the field here. We haven't even had our first snap, and they're already tempers flaring out here. No surprise, really, Phil.
Well, they haven't seen each other in 2 weeks, so you just want to get reacquainted, say hi, hey, how you been? It's the one thing about this rivalry, Jim, you've said it, we hear it all the time, is they talk about how much they like playing each other, and really their total dislike for each other, too, which is awesome.
Well, it's the second time in 14 days, and you've said all week that you think it is the best rivalry of all right now. 2
good teams have been playing at the top level for a long time who play exciting, low-scoring games.
So Flacco is going to come out throwing on first down and on target to Bolden. And look at Leach come in and put a little hit on Worlds. And that's a gain of 11. Here is the offensive line for Flacco. And check it out, Burke giving them great consistency at center. Osimile on the right side, the rookie. And then you've got Rice coming off that epic 4th and 29 screen pass conversion. And the Ravens' victory last week at San Diego has been the talk of the town this week, as they were able now to come back from 13-3 down in the 4th to win it in overtime. And Flacco likes the long ball here. He's got a man there, and it is incomplete. It was Torrey Smith who had his hands on it for a moment, and Ike Taylor got in there to help knock it loose.
They say, the Baltimore Ravens on offense, we got to throw the football deep to let them know that we're going to try it. You don't always have to complete it. Torrey Smith did a good job, tries to go up and catch it with his body, and at the last second, Jim, it looks like Ike Taylor did. He got his left hand in there and flipped the football out.
And Roethlisberger was hit after he threw it as Ike Taylor comes out. Flacco was hit by Polamalu, who's back after 9 consecutive missed games with that calf injury. 9 overall, actually, on the season, inactive. And here's Flacco going again, and he goes right back to Smith on the little slant in front of Lewis. And again, words exchanged after the 12-yard pickup. His Pittsburgh defense is #1 in the league and #1 against everybody when it comes to pass defense. Kiesel up front having a good year. We've already mentioned World's name. He is starting to step up big time. And the return of Polamalu, who played week 1 against Denver, and just a partial performance week 4 against Philadelphia. 4th play, 4th throw, and this one's incomplete. A little too steep for Anquan Bolden. So back to Joe Flacco, and now he's had quite a year, and some you would say even quietly the way he's gone about it, Phil.
Well, that's the way he does it. He is quiet about it, doesn't really talk about himself much. I think when you watch this game today, the Steelers know that Joe Flacco, probably more than any quarterback in the NFL, likes to throw the football towards the sidelines. They took it away from this offense in the game they played 2 weeks ago. Look for the Ravens to try to throw the football. We already have 3 times more inside instead of towards the sidelines.
McKinney in on that jumbo package on the line. 2nd and 10. And a catch made by Torrey Smith. He's going to be a few yards short of the first.
Well, that's what you say. Go up, be physical. The man that's the most physical wins these battles, and Torrey Smith just reaches out and snatches the ball. You know, John Harbaugh said the one thing about the receivers that he really likes is the fact that they catch those contested throws. There's James Harrison getting a little pressure.
James Harrison, who came into the league as a Raven, lasted for 8 days. And his defense right now trying to stop the Ravens on this opening drive. 3rd and 2 on the way. Jacoby Jones in as an extra receiver as they go spread here. Flacco zips it, and it's off the hands of Bolden. Should have had it. Would have been a first down on the Pittsburgh side of the field. There is a flag. Curtis Brown was defending. We've got Al Riveron and his crew presiding.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 74 offense, 15-yard penalty.
Michael Orr going to be flagged for that.
Well, the only good thing about that penalty is it will not hurt field position, because you watch these punters in this league now, kicking or punting from their 35 instead of the 50, they're still going to get it to the same spot.
Cook comes in to punt, and there is the return of Antonio Brown after 3 missed games with an ankle injury. Punt travels to the 21, and stepping out after a 2-yard return at the 23. 43-yard punt. And Charlie Batch in the Pittsburgh offense. What will it be like today after 8 giveaways and the loss at Cleveland? 3 picks, 5 fumbles. His offensive line, a lot of questions this week. Would Cologne be up? He is. He starts. Beecham at right tackle. And you're seeing already some changes up front. We see Legursky in that huddle right now. In fact, we're going to see the shift. Cologne will not start. They're going to put Legursky at center and move Pouncey over to left guard. So Cologne is up, not inactive. We were told Cologne would start, but they're going to put Pouncey over at left guard, and Legursky steps up at center. And on first down, it's Dwyer shaking off a hit. Nice piece of running for a gain of 5, and we've got an update. James Brown, back to you in New York.
What a rookie season by Luck. JB, 4 seconds left. 4th and 10 on the Lions, 14. Final play of the game. Look at this. Andrew Luck's finds Donnie Avery. He takes it in. They go on to win 35-33. What a comeback by Andrew Luck and the Colts. Jim and Phil.
Incredible. They were down big in that one. 2nd and 5, and that pass a little low and incomplete for Mike Wallace. Where was the Detroit defense on that play? They were all standing in the end zone. Here's the Baltimore defense. Jones coming off a 2-sack game last week against San Diego. And Suggs, of course, he's back after being out the first half of the season with an Achilles injury. And Ed Reed with his 60 career interceptions, a future Hall of Famer. Batch facing a 3rd and 5, and they brought in Isaac Redmond now in the backfield. Back with time, and he gets the completion to Sanders for the first down. And as Emmanuel Sanders been stepping up lately, and it's a gain of 12.
He sure has. Emmanuel, first off, the pass protection is awesome. Gives Charlie Batch that extra time to throw the football. He looked to his left, nobody open, but Sanders contested over the middle by Graham, makes the catch, and Sanders, Jim, has been playing with enthusiasm, some toughness. He's brought some life to this Pittsburgh offense.
By the way, Batch was hit low after he released it, and he hobbled around and limped right back to the huddle, but stays in on first down from the 41. It's Dwyer. And again, he is going to make him work hard to bring him down, and he picks up 4. Jonathan Dwyer stepping up as the starter. And speaking of starters, Charlie Batch, his 11th year at Pittsburgh, his hometown, and it's his 9th start as a Steeler in 11 years.
Yeah, and you know, he has done well when he's come in and relieved for Ben Roethlisberger. You remember a couple years ago when Roethlisberger set out those first games, they had a chance to go 4-0. They lost a tough game, but Charlie Batch knows what he did last week. We could see the resolve in his eyes last night. He's a proud pro athlete. That's why I keep thinking he's going to play well.
2nd and 6, and Dwyer is about a yard, maybe 2, short of the first. Give him 4 more. Jonathan Dwyer, third year back from Georgia Tech, and they have sat down today Rashard Mendenhall, a non-injury inactive. I'd like to welcome many of you just joining us here off that Colts incredible victory up at Detroit. Jim Nantz, Phil Simms here in Baltimore. Pittsburgh's opening drive. The Ravens took the opening kickoff, picked up a couple of first downs, and then punted. Here it's a 3rd and 2 for Pittsburgh. And Batch completes another one on 3rd down. This one to Will Johnson to move the chains.
Well, what they're doing, they're getting Charlie Batch here off to a good start. He hung in the pocket, got that 3rd down completion. This was a good throw out in the flat. I know it's short, but it's on target with some pep, so Johnson can catch it and hold on once he takes the hit. And that's what you want to do to a quarterback, especially one that's not your starter, Jim. Try to find a way to get him into the game early. Todd Haley has done that. Some nice, easy rhythm throws, and Charlie Batch is taking advantage of it.
Todd Haley also certain that Batch was going to be so much better today, and you saw it too in that meeting with Batch last night. Here's a first down carry again by Dwyer, and he comes out of the pocket. There's a little shake, and then the power to advance it all the way to the Baltimore 34. Good hard work by Dwyer for a gain of 14.
Well, what did we hear, Jim? You know, they want Jonathan Dwyer to be a workhorse. In other words, be a running back who just demands and shows everybody that he deserves the football 20 to 25 times a game. That's what they want from him. And what did Todd Haley say? He keeps telling him about Curtis Martin. You know, you don't get tired out there. You don't get hurt. You just keep playing, because that's what Curtis Martin used to do for the Jets.
And play hurt as well was his point with Martin. He's a little nicked up, staying there. He wants that workhorse mentality. 1st and 10, and they're in on Dwyer this time quickly and not letting him get away. That was Suggs in the backfield on a loss of 3. And again, we welcome another audience here to our CBS National doubleheader game, and the Colts go to 8 and 4 with that victory up at Detroit. What a win it was with the luck touchdown toss to Avery on the game's last play. Baltimore today can clinch a playoff berth with a victory. New England and Houston have already clinched postseason appearances today. On the AFC side, 2nd and 13. And Batch floats it over the head of Antonio Brown. There was nothing downfield. Some pressure on Batch by Nata. Got a sports fan on your gift list? CBSSports.com shop has officially licensed NFL gear and NCAA gear from over 500 schools. 3-day shipping on every order at shop.cbssports.com. Ben Roethlisberger, Coach Tomlin telling us, I think he'll be playing next week. A legitimate shot to return next week at home against San Diego. But in the meantime, out for a 3rd straight game.
Look for a couple yards in this situation here, Jim, so it makes the field goal try a little easier.
3rd and 13. That's Brown. He's brought down 3 yards shy of the 1st.
You know, this is really a good job by Charlie Batch. Understand the situation. If you get a field goal try, if you make it in this opening drive, it'll give a lot of confidence to this Pittsburgh offense, for Charlie Batch making his 2nd start, and for the team, which they needed after the last 2 games that we have seen how their offense has played.
For 7 of the last 8 meetings between these two have been, in the end, settled by 3 points or less. Everything's important, including squeezing here. From 46, and it's good. Sean Squeezem now 22 of 23 on the year. Butler spins it around for him, and Squeezem delivers it right down the middle. What do you make of that opening drive by the Steelers?
Well, it was everything they wanted. It was tough. They ran the football. Jonathan Dwyer got some extra yards. Charlie Batch, that first 3rd down completion, gave him some confidence and rhythm. And I'll tell you, for 3 points, that Steelers sideline was pretty excited about it when they came running off the field. That's for sure.
Jacoby Jones has returned 2 kicks this year for touchdowns, plus the punt return against the Steelers for a score. And finally gets the handle here, and is dragged down at the 18-yard line by Curtis Brown. Baltimore down 3-0. And Nance along with Phil Simms here in Baltimore. Where the Steelers put together a drive that leads to a 46-yard field goal by Sweesom, and now we'll see the Ravens for the second time. This is their first running play of the game, and Rice is in that pile for a gain of about 4. Their first series, they had 6 snaps, 6 throws. Of course, you know we've got to talk about the 4th and 29, the play that at the end of the year could end up being the one that defines their whole season.
Oh, yeah, if they go on and win the Super Bowl, this will be the defining moment. There's no doubt about it. And Ray Rice, what a good job. Good block by Anquan Bolden.
2nd and 6, and here is Rice. And he spins right at the first down yardage. Looks to be enough for a first. When we talked to Joe Flacco about it, he said, you know, there's a lot of luck involved in that, too.
Oh, yeah, of course. 4th and 29, Jim. But Joe Flacco looked down the field. He kind of went through the play with us. And he said, yeah, it's luck. And Ray Rice bailed me out because everybody expects you just to throw it down in the pack of a bunch of people. But once he got pressured and started drifting backwards, then he had no choice to dump it off to Ray Rice. And the rest we've seen, I guess I saw that play at least 50 times on TV during the week because it was spectacular. And he did a little Ray Rice up the middle, made it even better.
Yeah, and Rice off the first down, sets up this throw, and it's incomplete. Trying to lead Anquan Bolden across the middle. By the way, we saw Ike Taylor of the Steelers shaken up on the last defensive series. It's an ankle, questionable to return.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Ike Taylor has been playing so well. You used to say when you played the Steelers, you throw the football because they don't play tight coverage. Well, that day is over. They're number 1 in the NFL against the pass. Their corners have been spectacular, and Ike Taylor can cover, and he's an awesome tackler, too.
And you see Cortez Allen in for him. Flacco dumps it across the middle. And Rice is wrapped up by Lawrence Timmons after 5. It'll be 3rd and 5.
That's what you got to do against this defense. Joe Flacco looking outside. But the linebackers for the Steelers can get back underneath coverage so well, and nobody's there, and you've got to do this a lot. You've got to dump the ball short to Ray Rice and hope he can make a play. They need Ray Rice, Anquan Bolden, and Dennis Pitta all to play well today.
3rd and 5, and Flacco knocked down by the man we just talked about coming in for Ike Taylor. That's Cortez Allen, the second-year man from the Citadel, denying Anquan Bolden, and it will bring back out Cook to punt.
Yeah, well, hey, look at nice holding going inside. Got the jersey, and nobody sees it, and then gets the left hand and knocks it down. The hand's not the penalty. The pull in the jersey was, but Cortez Allen has turned into one of the best slot defenders in the NFL.
Sam Cook has had a punt of at least 50 yards in every game this year. First one traveled 43 yards. And this one again down to Antonio Brown. And unable to sidestep David Reed, just brought up this week off the physically unable to perform list. Had been out with a knee. That's the 50-yard punt. Yet another one in a game this year. And the Steelers are backed inside the 20. So Charlie Batch, after getting a lot of individual work this week with the wide receivers, especially Antonio Brown, getting those starter reps in practice.
Yeah, it helps. You know, why do we always expect backups? They got to come in and play great. If they don't, they just get barraged by criticism. I understand criticism comes, but he hasn't been under the center and taken any reps until last week all year.
Throwing on first down. And bumping it off Dwyer fights for that 1 yard, but Pollard never letting go of him.
Let me say this. So the commercial comes about, Jim, and what did you turn to me and you said, well, that's the Charlie Batch you and I always see.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of, we've been there for the few times that he started. We've been there, and he's so efficient usually, and has led them to wins we've seen, like down in Tampa, here in Baltimore a few years back. One time we saw him up in Green Bay. And that's why one year you had him on your all-iron team.
That's right. He won it in Detroit. Played great that day on Thanksgiving.
2nd down and 9. And there's Wallace. Mike Wallace It's to the 20. It'll be 3rd and 3 coming up. What about Mike Wallace, named a co-starter this week by Mike Tomlin along with Emmanuel Sanders?
Well, I think after last week, Mike Tomlin's not going to stand pat. And he did a couple things. Rashard Mendenhall, usually their starting running back, inactive today. Mike Wallace, now a co-starter. They want him to get going again. Quit feeling sorry for yourself. The ball's not coming your way, your contract year. There's a lot going on, but you just got to play. And you got to give off better body language, too. So catching the ball here early in the game could help Mike Wallace a lot.
We saw that little tap on the helmet by Tomlin to Wallace, who's not in here, 3rd and 3. And Batch airs it out to Brown, and it's incomplete. Trying to hit Antonio Brown.
Yeah, Baltimore is taking the underneath routes and trying to shut them out. And what a recovery by Corey Graham. Gets all the way over there. And even if the football is right on target, he's going to knock it down. Good catch by Charlie Batch there.
Drew Butler, rookie out of Georgia. And that is Jacoby Jones with the fair catch at the 34. A boot of 45 yards, and Flacco comes out for the 3rd time. We're back in Baltimore. These two, again, met 2 weeks ago. The Ravens won 13-10. We're almost 5 quarters of action into the season between these two, and only one offensive touchdown. This is Pierce. And the rookie from Temple battles it out for 4. Tonight, there's only one man who ever escaped from a prison considered the worst in the world, and he tells his story to 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. Polamalu, by the way, is not in on this series, and this is something we were going to look for anyway. Will Allen will take some series now and then in this game today, we were warned.
Yeah, well, Polamalu hadn't played in so long, Jim, and there's no way you can be in 100% game shape, so don't push it. Will Allen played very well in his absence. So I think he'll get 2 or 3 series here in this game.
2nd and 6, and Pierce for a 2nd straight carry, this time for 2. This defense of the Steelers. And when you talk to James Harrison, he'll tell you that it was essential today that our defense, he says, has to outperform their defense.
Isn't that how this game usually goes? But I will say this. They played 2 weeks ago. The Pittsburgh Steelers played one of the best defensive games I've ever watched. And, you know, the points were given up because of turnovers, a fumble, a return. But their defense from start to finish was spectacular.
3rd and 4. Flacco trying to convert here for the first time on 3rd down. Bodies on him. He dumps it over. Look at the effort by Pierce to stretch it out, and they'll give him the first down. A gain of 5. He had Ryan Clark on him, but he knew he needed to stretch it out to pick up the first, and he does.
Yeah, how about that? Joe Flacco really under pressure. Somebody's got him around the waist, holding him, but Joe Flacco, 6'6", can stand in the pocket and still get it done.
It's worlds on him here, Phil.
How about that? Doesn't take his eyes off and really doesn't even move him. And Joe, Jim, we don't even have to talk about it. He has the arm strength to throw it to the sidelines, even with a defender on it.
Polamalu back in, first down. It's Pierce. And the rookie getting some good work on this drive. Gain of 5 in Baltimore for the 2nd time. Reaches the 50. Still looking for that first snap on the Steelers side of the field.
Well, you know, they needed a running back in here to spell Ray Rice, so they drafted Pierce from Temple in the 3rd round, and I think he's delivered. He shows, and anytime for rookies, no matter what the position, even at running back, it takes a while to learn to be an NFL runner, how to change your thought process, and Pierce has done a good job of that. Doesn't look for the big carries, just powers for those extra couple yards.
2nd down and 5, and a diving grab this time by Bolden. He had a drop on the first drive of the game, but makes the tough catch here for 6 and a first.
This is going to show you why they have to throw the football inside some. Watch James Harrison comes out. Oh my, and he just misses it, and Joe Flacco sees it. Makes a terrific throw and a terrific catch by Anquan Bolden. But these Steeler linebackers can get outside to the sideline like it's nothing. They do it well, and it really hurt the passing game of the Ravens in their encounter 2 weeks ago.
Bolden just 71 yards from 10,000 on his career. First down play, and the throw goes out the corner. It's Vontae Leach taking the short throw and taking it for a gain of 11. That's the end of the first. Pittsburgh 3, Baltimore nothing. We'll return after these messages. And you're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. All right, the Ravens are moving it here. They've won 4 straight overall. They're 9-2 on the year. Never has this franchise been 10-2. A victory today, they're in the playoffs. A win and a loss by Cincinnati out of San Diego. They take the division. It's Rice right into Worlds, and that picks up 2. So Rice gets a little spell at the end of the first quarter. Pierce plays well, and now Rice back in.
Look at Casey Hampton. Here he is on this side, and then the Baltimore Ravens run the opposite side. When they played 2 weeks ago, they were always running into that tilted nose, and it was giving them a lot of problems. And Vontae Leach against Troy Polamalu. Jim, what did I tell you about Vontae Leach? If he's not the best blocking fullback in the NFL, he's the guy who is.
Second down and 8. There is Leach with a second catch. As he's now helped move it down the field. I know one thing you did say is that when it's a running play and he's coming after you, you just don't like the sight of Leach bearing down on you.
Well, I've seen some all-pro linebackers and players in the league shy away from getting hit. First off, look at him. You can't believe he's a running back. He could be a guard. Catches the football pretty well. That's Jason Worlds. Boy, it's 2 big men hitting each other there, no doubt.
Third down and 3. And Flacco pass. Oh, he had an open man. He had Smith. He had Torrey Smith.
Well, he did, but I think he rushed the throw. There's no doubt about it. I was watching Torrey Smith to the outside. The throw was high, but Joe Flacco felt pressure coming and tried to protect himself. When he did it, that's why the football sailed high.
And Curtis Brown got a little shot on him cleanly off the incompletion. That brings out the rookie from Texas, Justin Tucker, for a 45-yard field goal to match the Sweezum field goal in the first quarter. Nice snap, good job getting it down, and it is good. Hook handled the snap from Morgan Cox. Flacco takes him down for the tying field goal. Justin Tucker, impressive-looking rookie kicker who's had 2 game winners this year. Beat out Billy Cundiff in camp to take the job, and you like what you see out of him.
Well, so do the Ravens. So does John Harbaugh. What they like, and you'd like this always out of your field goal kicker, he kicks it really straight. All doesn't curve when he kicks it up in the air.
And Rainey watches that. Bounce by out to the 20. Nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Break down all the NFL action on NFL Monday QB tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network. 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Steelers have to be a little bit relieved after the 8 giveaways at Cleveland in the loss against the Browns last Sunday. No giveaways in that first quarter. Batch and company running efficiently so far.
Yeah, so far. I mean, last week it was penalties that brought back big passes, and of course the fumbles, which were just inexcusable because not good carriage of the football, having the football in the wrong hand, that's why they lost.
It's Beckham. And spins a couple of times to earn 1.
And that was a good example there, Jim. As Mike Tomlin said, you got to know they have different areas of the field. When they're backed up at all, it's put both arms around it. We cradle the football. Don't put it in one arm. You turn it over at this part of the field, that's how you lose.
And you don't carry the football, he implored his team, with the inside arm. He had a position wrong a couple of times, and that really frustrated the coach. Second down and 9. Redmond, he this time cradles it with both hands.
He's got the death grip on it.
Yes, he did. The 8 giveaways, the most by any NFL team since 2001. think about it, they had 12 giveaways through the first 11 weeks and then 8 in 1 week. And Redmond, he knows.
Yeah, look at that.
You cough it up, you're not coming back out here today.
Both ends of the football are covered. That's how you want it. A lot of traffic in there, especially with a defense like the Ravens.
3rd and 4. Miller, who has not caught a pass yet, shifts to that right side. Backs may be looking for him. Nothing there. Now, closing in on him, and they sack him at the 23. Paul Kruger, who has come on big time this last month, has a sack now for the 4th consecutive game.
Well, he's relentless. Look at it. He's getting double teamed, but he is relentless. And no matter what the situation, he's brought somebody that can beat one-on-one offensive linemen in passing situations. And Paul Kruger, one of the big surprises, I think, for this Ravens defense.
Oh, almost got to it.
It was tipped.
It was McClellan who I believe got a hand on it. And it settles down at the 42 as Jacoby Jones comes over. Starts going after a Steeler. Drew Butler had a hard time getting a firm hold of that one. Here's the sack. Kruger has been starring since Lewis has been out. Ravens take over at the 42. A game like this, field position is so crucial, and Mike Tomlin thought that the Ravens got the better of it in the kicking game in the first matchup at Pittsburgh.
Well, so far they've done it today here. They got a finger on that last punt. They're lucky. The Steelers are. They're when it started to do.
Rice. And he's got 9, maybe 10, running behind Vontae Leach. It's interesting, the punt by Butler, he thought it was blocked. And actually was slightly deflected by just a finger, by a pinky, by McClellan.
Yeah, McClellan gets his fingertip on it. And you'll be able to see it clearly. Watch his left fingertip. Oh, boy. Left pinky finger.
Traveled 35 yards in the end. And there's Butler, the son of the former great kicker of the Super Bowl champion Chicago Bears of yesteryear, Kevin Butler. Kicker and a punter in the family.
The chains were not coordinated on both sides of the field. The official chains on the head linesman side ruled a first down, therefore it is a first down.
It's a first down at the Steelers' 48. You vote, they play. Send your favorite players to the 2013 Pro Bowl in Hawaii. Vote online or with your mobile device at NFL.com/Pro Bowl or text Pro Bowl to MyNFL. Line up in the eye with Leach and then Rice behind him. Again. It goes to Bolden and he's unable to hold on to it. Cortez Allen defending.
Yeah.
Allen getting all this time with Ike Taylor out.
That's what I talk about, Jim, is there's so many reasons why the Steelers are the #1 defense in the NFL, but that was a good illustration. They just don't give up easy throws. The corners are very aggressive, and Cam Cameron even said it to us. We got to throw it deep down the field a few times, at least make them think that we're willing to try it.
They have not allowed 170 yards net passing in the last 6 games. Counterculture to everything that's going on around the league these days. But Flacco wants to put up a big number right here, going to the end zone, and it's incomplete. And look at the play made by Cortez Allen defending on Torrey Smith.
It was a great breakup by Cortez Allen, top of the screen. And this is a nice route by Torrey Smith. Joe Flacco throws it up the field. If he threw it straight across the field, Torrey Smith is going to outrun Cortez Allen to the football. But how about that? The moment of truth, whatever you want to call it, Cortez Allen does not panic and goes up, and he looks like he's the receiver. What a job.
Yeah, Torrey Smith broke up an interception.
Broke it up, yeah.
3rd and 10. And Flacco goes back to Smith, and he has the first. Bounced out by Keenan Lewis. A much improved second-year man from Maryland. Torrey Smith for 14 in the first.
Yeah, how about this is what they like to do. We said they can throw it to the sidelines better than anybody in this league. And Torrey Smith, talking to him on Friday, he just can't believe how much he's learned as a pro about catching the football and running routes.
Got a flag down.
Offense, 12 men in a huddle, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Yep, on the offensive side, anytime you have 12 men in the huddle, it's a penalty no matter when you run that guy out.
Back to Torrey Smith. He's got 24 tickets to this game with of course, a lot of family and friends. He's from this area, home about 3 hours away, but he credits his wide receiver coach Jim Hostler for his improvement.
He just can't believe it. You know, where to put your hands, how to catch it, what to do in route running. In a year and a half, he's changed his game around.
First and 15, and Flacco wants another long ball for Smith, and he was turned around, couldn't find it, but the flag is thrown at the 4-yard line. He was being pushed by Cortez Allen.
Well,
Pass interference, number 28 defense.
Yep.
The ball will be spotted at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
They're going after this matchup, Phil.
well, they're going after it because this is what they want to do. And you're the corner, Cortez Allen. You just don't expect them to keep going down the field with these long throws. I think that one caught him off guard. And Joe Flacco was actually under pressure. Jason Worlds, he just moves calmly and still throws it about 55 yards in the air.
It's a 30-yard penalty, setting up first and goal. The first penalty against the Steelers, a big one. Rice has a hole, and Polamalu meets him at the 5. That hole was there because of Vontae Leach.
Oh my gosh, Jim, you know, we laugh, we thought, no, it's not funny. 44, he gets Casey Hampton and just takes him over backwards. Casey Hampton had no idea that Vontae Leach was coming down inside. Usually, you get somebody yells that somebody's coming in motion so the defensive lineman can protect themselves.
Matt Burke doing a job too. A few yards down the field, second and goal. Wow. Burke the center, pushing Timmons aside. Going up top here. Looking, throwing. They're throwing it to Bolden, but out of bounds.
Coverage, both of these teams, when they get back or when their defense is in this position, they kind of just run a shell. In other words, everybody just gets a position on the field and they wait for the offensive guys to come in their region, then they cover them. That's why the Ravens and the Steelers are both excellent defenses in the so-called red zone inside the 20-yard line.
13 out of 14 goal-to-go drives this year, converting touchdowns. Third and goal on this occasion. Incomplete, and Smith was trying to get there in time off the rebound, off the fingertips of Bolden.
Well, good job by Troy Polamalu. They're trying to hit it quick. 81's going to just turn, and Troy Polamalu coming from the outside.
Curtis Brown also 31.
And Foot is on the inside.
Yeah, Foot is there. So Tucker from 23. And he drills it. So they had goal to go just inside the 10. Foot defends it. And the field goal puts the Ravens up 3. Ike Taylor was injured on the first series of the game. We were told ankle sprain, questionable. Now getting iced. And after an opening drive field goal by the Steelers, they've had a pair of 3 and outs. Meanwhile, the Ravens kicked a couple of field goals. Take the lead for the first time. Tucker drills it through the back. Hey, the AFC playoff picture. Houston wins again today, maintaining pole position. They have not clinched in division, but Houston clinched a playoff berth with its victory today at Tennessee. And New England won the AFC East with its victory down in Miami. Baltimore currently sitting in the 2 spot and would also clinch a playoff berth with a victory. Would take the division with a win and a Cincinnati loss at San Diego. The Chargers currently leading the Beagles off a pick 6 off Andy Dalton. Mario Williams. First and 10, wide receiver screen. Brown charges ahead for 4. On the NFC side, best record belongs to Atlanta. The 49ers fell today in overtime to the St. Louis Rams. Zerline, their great young kicker, kicking a couple of long ones to win that one. Green Bay with a victory today over Minnesota. Chicago fell to Seattle in overtime. Second and 6. Pollard coming up to make this quick stick on Dwyer, holding him to 1.
Well, you expect this game to be chippy. Of course, it's living up to that. And Pollard, that kind of shows you what they think. They're going to crowd the line of scrimmage. They're not too worried about the passing game of the Steelers, and it's going to make it difficult to run the football, no doubt. An unblocked guy. That time Pollard was trying to be blocked, but he was just too fast.
Third and 5. And Batch. Trying to find Brown, wouldn't have been anywhere close to the first anyway. Ed Reed was right there with him, incomplete.
Well, good protection for Charlie Batch, but there's nowhere to throw it. Everybody covered down the field. Ed Reed is all over Antonio Brown, and Charlie Batch to it the only place he could. Near the ground and incomplete.
So that's now 3 straight 3-and-outs for Pittsburgh. And Butler this time with a little pressure coming up the middle from McLean. Gets the boot away, and the fair catch by Jacoby Jones. Bodies tangled again. We got a flag down. 46-yard punt. You called it chippy. We had already an altercation off the opening kickoff, which was a touchback. That's how chippy it's been.
That's right.
You know?
Holding number 50, the receiving team. 10 yards from the fair catch. First down.
See, it's the only word I could say, Jim, on TV. I got other words for it.
The Ravens recognized top-performing students in an on-field ceremony prior to the game. Winning students chosen from 15,000 youth who took part in various Ravens Play 60 programs, including the Play 60 In-School Challenge and Project ACES. So off the penalty, the Ravens started the 19. They bring Pierce back into the lineup, and on the delay, they give it to him. And he darts ahead for about 4. Typical Ravens-Steelers game. 6-3 mid-second.
I said it's going to be the first 1 to 10. You go, oh, no.
13.
13.
13's the
here you
number.
go. 13's the magic number.
Ravens winning 2 weeks ago, 13-10. And again, 6 of the last 8 meetings decided by 3 points.
Well, they just can't fool each other. That's the one thing.
On 2nd and 6. There's Pierce sliding off an early hit and getting all the way out to the 32 before being tripped up by Ryan Clark. He got away from James Harrison. Takes it for 9.
Yeah, he does. Osamili gets outside number 72. Osamili, I should say, and gets a good block down the field. And James Harrison just quite couldn't get there. Now, when you see James Harrison missing that tackle, I got to say he's probably not 100%. He's getting close to it.
That left knee, he's probably not going to be 100% all season long. And first down carry, Pierce. And this time Timmons keeps it to a no-gainer. Tomorrow, to succeed in business, the girls will need some special help, especially when they have uninvited guests. Two broke girls, all new. Tomorrow, only CBS.
Well, you look at this game, Joe Flacco said, look, you got to stay patient when you're playing a team. Now, look, they said, I just couldn't tell you the respect the Ravens have for the Steelers defense because it is playing great. Stay patient. Don't get frustrated in it because it's going to be rough.
2nd and 10. Flacco able to spin out of the sack. They're looking field. Looked like Flacco was maybe just trying to throw it away. He had Kiesel on him, and that's the first pick he's thrown against the Steelers in a long time. The last 4 games he had not been picked by Pittsburgh, but he is here by Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark with the interception, and it's the first one thrown against Pittsburgh by Flacco in 173 throws in the regular season.
Well, Ryan Clark, one of the best safeties in the NFL, in my opinion. Mike Tomlin believes it too. Says, look, he just doesn't get the credit because he's playing with Troy Polamalu. What did he say, Jim? He's Scottie Pippen to Michael Jordan. That was a good way of saying it.
Flyer, and again they're breaking through right away. That is Bynes coming across and a loss of 2.
Well, let's watch Brett Kiesel first. He's going to get the pressure on Joe Flacco. And then Joe Flacco does a nice job, comes up in the pocket, gets away from him, and the bottom of your screen, that's Dennis Pitta going up the sideline. Will Clark deep sees it, makes the easy interception, and just an ill-advised throw by Joe Flacco.
There's Pitta trying to get open, and Clark playing center field. Pittsburgh has not had a first down in over 19 minutes. They go into round and a throw by Brown. Brown throwing it to Graham. He's intercepted. It is Graham with the interception. Corey Graham, what a find he has been. A special teams player with the Bears coming over as a free agent, and he's been the talk around these coaches.
It is really a tremendous interception. Being disciplined, playing the right techniques, not getting out of position. How about that? Look at, you can see right away his reaction. It's a really good throw by Antonio Brown. But even the Ravens, when you talk about Corey Graham, they go, I bring his name up at the complex on Friday, and everybody says, how about it? What do you think? It's unbelievable, isn't it? Because I don't think they knew what a good cover corner he was going to turn out to be.
That's his second interception of the season. Again, his first season in Baltimore. We've had 2 turnovers in a 47-second stretch. From the 31, Rice diving ahead for a couple, and it was Hampton who was there.
Well, Jim, let's just go back to the Ravens defense just for a second. You lose Ladarius Webb, Jimmy Smith, your first-round draft pick for last year. You got to think, oh boy, we're in trouble now in the secondary, and it's not the case. Corey Graham has come through for him and played great, and Kerry Williams, the other corner's playing very well.
Where's Pollard and Reed? Great pair of safeties too. Second down and 8. And that's put on the back of Rice. Gain of 3. 3rd and 5.
Just look at this graphic. The first 7 games, look at the numbers, and look what they've done the last 4. The number changes are startling because after a bye, after that bad loss down in Houston, they came back, redefined the positions for the players. They simplified their defense a little bit, and what a difference how they're playing.
Yeah, they're 4-0 out of that bye, and they've given up 4 touchdowns in those 4 games. That's it. 3rd and 3 here as Flacco fires it incomplete, but a flag is out. He was going to Bolden, and Lewis, they say, was a little early.
I don't think it's over there. I think it's somebody else, Jim.
Yeah, now that I'm looking, it's in the middle of the field.
Holding, number 23, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
I was going to say, I don't see any receivers in the middle of the field. Right there in the inside receiver, Anquan Bolden, so big and strong. Well, that's pretty close. I mean, it's tight. They called it tight. You're allowed to have contact with that receiver up to 5 yards. And, you know, I'm not going to say it's a good call or bad call because they're on the field. They have a different feel for it. But you've got to give defenses a chance. You just can't have everything. You can't have everything for the receiver.
Tomlin saying that's a bad call. Here's Flacco down the field. And catch. Bolden has it at the 29-yard line and very nearly sidestepped the second defender, and then it would have been all the way. But it goes for 31.
Well, top of the screen, Cortez Allen right in position, but the underthrow, it's just a nightmare for defensive backs. The underthrow footballs. And Joe Flacco throws it perfectly, and Anquan Bolden is a big, tough, has hands like vice grips, and just can catch the ball when there's people all over him.
That's the first play of the game. 20 yards, and they get right to 31 down the field. Bolden, and he has it. It looks like a touchdown between Flacco and Bolden last year, week 1 against the Steelers on the opening drive of the season that went for 27 yards and a touchdown. Almost identical. This was 28 yards.
Look how this football is just dropped right down in there. That's what Joe Flacco does very well. He can throw it down the field and where it just falls straight down to give receivers, boy, now that's pass interference. But what a catch by Anquan Bolden.
We were here last year, September 11th, 2011, and they scored on the 4th play of the season on that same side of the field, same direction, just a 1-yard difference. Flacco to Bolden in that same corner. Extra point by Tucker. So they cash in off the interception and take the 10-point lead. 7 consecutive home games, and he finds Bolden for the score from 28 yards out.
You know, I like when we were here last year for that opening game, the Green Bay Packers had just beaten the New Orleans Saints in the opening game on a Thursday last year.
Right.
And John Harbaugh said that during that game, he sent a text message to Joe Flacco because he was talking about Aaron Rodgers, all those back shoulder throws. That's what I want us to do.
Yeah.
And I couldn't wait to see him yesterday. And I went in there and saw him. I said, hey, have y'all mastered that back shoulder throw yet? And he started laughing. He goes, yeah, we're getting pretty good at it. So it's the first catch was the back shoulder throw. The second one was just a beautiful throw and catch by Joe Flacco and Anquan Bolden.
Remember that meeting before the season opener last year with also talking about how the script is flipping in this series. We've won 3 straight, trying to make it 4 in a row as Rainey brings it out, and Rainey, who is second in the league in kickoff returns for rookies, has a nice return.
I can see why.
39-yard run back here, Phil.
Speed's a nice talent to have, isn't it? And he makes the first guy miss. They're coming down so fast. You want to redirect the returner. The Ravens did it, but the rest of the guys on the outside out of position or blocked. They got high hopes for Chris Rainey that he can be a good returner and find a spot on this offense too.
Scored a touchdown last week out of the backfield right before the half against Cleveland. From the 40. 3 first downs, all coming on the first series. As Badge finds Will Johnson. Gain of 6. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Cowher. All the latest scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Ike Taylor now in a boot.
In a boot, yeah.
I heard on the pregame show, Shannon and Coach Cowher talking about how they were the ones behind this rivalry getting started, intensifying as it is today, perhaps the best in the game.
I'm not going to disagree with that, that's for sure. But with Coach Cowher, every game is a rivalry. You know, he found a way to hate them all. That was good.
2nd and 4 carry by Dwyer goes for 5 and a first down.
You know, as I watch this game here in this first half, Jim, the one thing that this Steelers offense has got to do, they tried to trick play, but Charlie Batch, even if it's incomplete, you've got to air the football out every once in a while.
Not going to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. They've just picked up their first down of the second quarter. 13-3 Ravens. Ray Lewis, Ray Rice on that sideline right now.
Ray Lewis hoping to come back. We were told he's rehabbing that torn tricep about 12 hours a day. So doing whatever it takes to get back out on that field.
On first down, blitz is picked up, and Badge showing his arm strength here. He launched it 50 yards down the field looking for Wallace, and no flag. A lot of people talking about this week. Well, Badge can't throw it down the field. This is the second time he's tried to go long in this game.
Yeah, and I just thought they needed to. And I'll tell you, it just shows you how good these corners are. Graham, that's good positioning. That's no no interference. Yeah, he touched him. You're allowed to touch him. So good job by him. But Mike Wallace, he can run. Charlie Batch really thought getting this second week of starter reps that he just felt better with the receivers, just knew them better. The timing will be better in this game. Tough going against this Baltimore defense.
And second down and 10. They go screen and is met right away by Ayan Badejo. He's in on Dwyer, who has 2 catches that have gained nothing at all.
Yeah, they're quick. The linebackers on this defense just give it speed. They're not quick up front. Paul Kruger's really right now the only true pass rushers because Terrell Suggs is just not back there yet. But all the linebackers, Jim, can run. They're good blitzers. And we saw how they can tackle when they see a guy with the football.
Ayan Badejo stepping up as a starter today with Ellerby out with a thumb, wrist, and also an ankle injury as Roethlisberger looks on. Steelers have failed on the last 4 third down attempts. A flag out on the snap. That zips it down the Wallace. He should have had it. And the frustrations mount for Mike Wallace.
Great throw. Charlie Batch knew they were offside. He was looking down the field for the big play. And he put it between the corner and the safety.
Offside, number 92, defense, 5-yard penalty. It will remain third down.
Yeah, we saw Roethlisberger on the sideline.
Oh, this is how you win these games. Top of your screen. Oh, little hesitation that time by Brown, and that throw was perfect.
Got to make that catch. Roethlisberger was posting great numbers. Well, had he even caught it, he would not have had both feet down. And they've been upset with the ways his footwork on a few critical catches has been out of place this season. 3rd and 8. As Batch, another perfect pass. First catch by Miller. Moves the chains inside of a minute.
Beautiful throw by Charlie Batch. The window was small, and he just drove it right in there this time. And last week, just the rust, didn't throw it as well as he can do it, but he's being crisp with the football so far here in this game. And Heath Miller, every time you watch the Steelers play, he does it all. Catches it, catches the big catches in crucial situations, and a very good blocking tight end.
That was one right there, crucial. 3rd and 8. Gain 17. And back, waiting. And batted down, knocked down by Kerry Williams. And Brown was the target.
That's just great coverage. Kerry Williams, you know, sometimes you brag about these guys and you go, uh-oh. But Kerry Williams, watch as he comes across the middle against Antonio Brown. Just casually reaches up there with his right hand and knocks it down. Got to chase him across the field.
Batch had time as Dwyer did a good job of picking up Kruger on a crash up the middle. 2nd down and 10, 51 seconds. All 3 timeouts, and Batch retrieves it. On the run to Miller. And Heath Miller plows inside the 25 to the 23, gain of 7. And a timeout by the Steelers. Trying to do something before the half, plus they'll be receiving the second half kick. All right, we're back here with a 3rd down and 3. As Lewis digging in from the sideline, shotgun. Batch talking about this, the loudest outdoor stadium in the league. And he's got all kinds of time to go to the end zone. And wide open was Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace is wide open, and Antonio Brown is sitting there still with his arms up. He was right over the middle of the football. They make a defensive error in the backfield. Nobody covers Mike Wallace once he goes down the field. Look at Antonio Brown right in the middle of the screen. Nobody covered him. Oh boy, the Ravens defense.
Wide open. It lands right into a Parab Mike, right into the cone. 41 yards. Sweesum, man, has he been consistent this year. Only 1 miss all year. Now 23 of 24. And it's a 1-score game. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Collar await. They're in the studio up in New York. Scores and highlights. Verizon halftime report. Missing an easy one, but watch where it lands here.
Oh,
yeah.
Ducking to get out of the way. Good shot. Well, it hit something. But you look at that drive. That was huge. Mike Wallace drops the pass down the sidelines, but they overcame that. But you get a chance for an easy touchdown throw. You don't get many of those opportunities in a game like this.
Boy, he had thrown some really precise passes on that drive, though. One to Miller, one was dropped by Wallace earlier on that drive. Jacoby Jones. Wrapped up around the neck and brought down.
Well, let's be quarterback for a second here. Here goes Antonio Brown over the middle. Mike Wallace is going to go up here and go to the back of the end zone. Let's watch it and see what the Ravens defense, they get confused what they're going to do. Look at Antonio Brown over the middle of the ball, uncovered, and nobody goes deep. Ed Reed is guessing, going left, and Charlie Batch misses him.
What happens on a throw like that? There was no one around him, so he wasn't feeling any pressure by his feet.
It flashed in front of him real quick. So what happens is that you go to throw it hard, Jim, and you just lose control of the football. It caught him by surprise, no doubt, when he saw Mike Wallace wide open in the back of the end zone.
Steelers will be receiving the second half kick. Baltimore leads it by 7 at the intermission. Back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. Baltimore leads it 13-6. First half yardage, Pittsburgh 93 total yards. Baltimore 191. Flacco with 134 and the touchdown throw to Anquan Boldin.
Well, you know, I think when you look at the game so far, the Baltimore Ravens, Joe Flacco, they're throwing the football down the field, looking for those big plays. Because when you're playing a team or two defenses like this that think you're going to march the football 80 yards and just have a systematic drive, that's tough to do, and you don't see it often.
So the Steelers will be getting the football. They picked up only 5 first downs in that first half, but only down 1 score, down 7. As Tucker sends it down 2 hops, picked up Rainey. He dives underneath. The hit by Ihedibo. And a 20-yard run back. Batch 9 out of 16, and that one throw right there, you won't forget about that one for a long time. Flacco, this one throw is the difference in the game.
Well, if Charlie Batch would have made that throw right there at the end of the first half, they would have been flying off the field, and their emotions would have been crazy at halftime.
Down at the line of scrimmage. Terrence Cody, the third-year man from Alabama.
One thing both of these defensive lines do, both teams, they read the quarterback very well. They get their hands up and they knock a lot of passes down. Good job by Terrence Cody.
High expectations for Cody, drafted in the second round back in 2010. Lined up right next to Olote Natal. One of the best in the game. Second down and 10. Pass gets over to Sanders, wrapped up by Williams and Graham. Third and short coming up, give him 7.
Well, Charlie Batch actually gets, pauses before he throws it. Not sure he wants to, and holds it and just flicks it out there with his hand. Good throw, but boy, that's dangerous when you're a little off, your timing's off, or you're off balance, and you try to make those throws outside. You could end up in a bad situation.
And it's starting to rain here a little bit. Had about a 40% chance of showers, and they just arrived here at the start of the third quarter. Redmond in the backfield on 3rd and 3, and he gets the call. Redmond decides to take it outside, then darts inside to pick up the first. Nice piece of running. He's got Pollard finally bringing him down, and Pouncey was one who helped spring him for 7 in the first.
Yeah, how about that? Marquise Pouncey, 53, gets the double team, and what an athlete, gets up on the linebacker, Ian Badejo, and takes him to the ground.
You know, let's talk about this a little bit. You got Legursky in there at center today, and Pouncey, usually the center moves to left guard.
Well, Willie Colon beat up, his health is not 100%. Legursky is a very good backup center, so that's why they made the move. They think Marquise Pouncey, if he played guard, will be an all-pro.
1st and 10, hurdling, and it's Dwyer for about a yard. Yeah, they were talking about Pouncey when they got a few looks at him in practice this week. Polling on a few plays in practice, and it was eye-opening.
I've been watching for it the whole game, waiting to see him just run out there and hit somebody in space. Now, let's don't forget Doug Legursky, backup interior offensive lineman. You remember in the Super Bowl against Green Bay a couple years ago, he had to play for Marquise Pouncey, and he came through. And I thought he played very well in that game. So that's why they made the switch. Legursky's a better center than a guard.
2nd and 9. Batch, beautiful throw to Miller. Running room, 30. 25, and finally tackled at the 20 by Gary Williams. Longest gain of the day for the Steelers.
Well, it's a beautiful job, good design. Both of these guys are going to go down the field here. Then you're going to see Heath Miller come across because they're going to create an open lane for him. So you got two fast guys running down the field, and look at the space that's going to open up. And Charlie Batch right on target, makes a beautiful throw, and Heath Miller once again.
Heath Miller with his longest catch of the season, 43 yards. Heath Miller, who grew up in neighboring Virginia, went to college at UVA. 3rd catch for 67 overall. In the red zone now, where the Ravens have stiffened. And it's Sanders brought down after a gain of about 3. Yes, the last 10 times a team's been in the red zone against the Ravens, they have not scored a touchdown.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons for everything in the NFL. It's not because of their pass rush, Jim. It's because they have speed at the linebacker position. They play their techniques well, and they get guys that are covering well on the outside.
In all those red zone stops, you were talking earlier about how they've been so different coming out of their bye. That's been a big part of the story. Not giving up a touchdown inside the 20. On 2nd and 7. That is Dwyer. And look at Backstone with a block. And Dwyer's in for the touchdown. What a play by the quarterback. Dwyer first, able to break off a tackle, and then Batch to have the presence of mind to lead him to the end zone.
Wow, that is something. Jonathan Dwyer just keeps running. The linemen stay on their blocks, and Charlie Batch goes down the field and kind of shields the defender so they can't come over and make the tackle.
He shields Williams right there. Gary Williams.
Does. What a job. Great job by Charlie Batch. That's, boy, another big confidence booster for this Pittsburgh's offense.
What a presence of mind by the 15-year quarterback to take Dwyer, escort him to the end zone. The game's tied. Todd Haley saying the reason Batch has been in the league so long is because of his mind. Heads up play leads the Steelers to the end zone. Jonathan Dwyer appointed the starter this week. They set down Mendenhall today with a non-injury inactive. Isaac Redman up, Chris Rainey up. All the backs, of course, fumbled last week, but you know, you look at all the backs that they have, including Baron Batch, who even got some snaps earlier this year. The youngest guy of all is Jonathan Dwyer. Even in his 3rd year, he's still the youngest at 23 years old. He's stepping up off a big run. And Jacoby Jones tackled it for 26 by Rainey, as well as Ryan Mundy, Will Allen. Well, the Steelers, Cortez Allen having to come in today for Ike Taylor. Made a couple of nice plays. Broke this one up, nearly made the pick. But here he got flagged, 30 yards on the interference call. Set up a field goal. And the touchdown to Bolden. And we're told at halftime that Taylor, they saw him in a boot, so could deduce that anyway, but will not return with that ankle sprain. Rice says hello to James Harrison, and what a visit yesterday with James Harrison.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Good spirit, huh?
Yeah, he was in a rare mood, that is for sure. And he was just, I think he's just in good spirits because he feels like he's close and he can enjoy playing football again. You talked about his left knee, and we always ask him about his weightlifting because he is a huge weightlifter, and he's got Jason Worlds, number 93, kind of as his partner now. When you look at both of them, you go, yeah, I believe they lift some weights.
2nd and 9. Leach could try to get him, and then it's Timmons, but a first down. Leach's 3rd grab of the game.
Well, Vontae Leach, we talked about how he blocks and just can intimidate linebackers, but he's showing he can be a good outlet receiver and pretty nifty once as he catches it. So he doesn't always just try to run over everybody. He makes a miss every once in a while.
10 unanswered points by the Steelers in a 5-minute span to tie this game, and it's Rice into the back of McClendon, and Timmons is there as well for a loss of a yard.
I think you look at it, Jim, you can see this Baltimore offense just has a better idea what to do today over the game they played 2 weeks ago. And when I watched that game, I went, my gosh, it's a miracle. Baltimore gained 200 yards. Joe Flacco made a couple off-balance throws getting out of the pocket. If they didn't have those plays, they wouldn't have gained 100. So, but a much better plan by Cam Cameron, and the players have responded and playing better.
2nd and 11. Rice almost able to snag it, but Worlds was right there influencing things. You were looking at Cam Cameron, and of course the first matchup, Polamalu was not dressed for that game, inactive for the Steelers. Cameron made sure that the young players for the Ravens knew all about Polamalu. He put a tape together, said just watch what he can do out there and beware. He really mixes things up.
Well, when I was watching practice, we were there. Cam Cameron stood behind the defense that was going against his offense and was coaching Sean Constantine to play Troy Polamalu like, oh, do this. And I haven't seen a coach actually get in the defense, the offensive coach get on the defensive side and coach him up.
Timeout called by Flacco. We've got a 3rd and 11 coming up out of the timeout with the game tied here in the 3rd. Back here in Baltimore, where the Ravens are trying to extend a win streak. They got a home win streak now that, including postseasons, at 16 games, and a divisional win streak at 12 straight. A little under the radar. 3rd and 11, and Flacco has an open target. It's Bolden. And there is a flag right at midfield, and it might be against Bolden.
Pass interference, number 81, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Well, he's going against Cortez Allen again in the slot. Goes up the field, extends both arms, and we've talked about Anquan Bolden, how big and strong he is. Of course, Cortez Allen, you can see he's a tall, thin guy, so when he extended those arms, Cortez Allen went flying.
One pass interference call against Allen, and this time one where he was the one who had to take it. On Bolden, wiping out a first down gain, 3rd and 21. And it'll be 3rd and 26.
False start, number 81, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Well, what happened here is Joe Flacco was trying to give him a hard count to see if he could get the defense to show their hand. In other words, is there going to be a blitz? And if it is, I can change protection. And when he made that inflection of his voice, Anquan Bolden took off.
Well, they picked up a 4th and 29 last week. What about a 3rd and 26? Jacoby Jones climbs the ladder, and it goes incomplete. Keenan Lewis defending.
Good coverage down the field once again. Top of the screen, Jacoby Jones, Keenan Lewis. As I tell you, Jim, you see it. That ball would have been underthrown a little more. Jacoby Jones could have made the catch.
And would have had a first down. Cook. A lot of air under this one. Antonio Brown backpedals to the 22 and loses his footing near the 30, where he's met by the Ravens. Met by Courtney Upshaw. Well, Ravens and Steelers, big rivalry game. And how about a little gesture of friendship? No.
Sportsmanship.
Second thought. Yeah, sportsmanship. Upshaw elects not to. Cortez Allen, Curtis Brown come over and wonder what's going on here. First and 10 as Batch is breaking the pressure for a moment, but the ball is out. I think it's going to be ruled an incompletion. As McLean was enjoying cradling that football for a moment, Arthur Jones was in on him, on Batch.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Second down.
Ball's in his hand. It goes forward. And you can see Isaac Redmond is right in front of him. That's why it's not going to be called intentional grounding. Hey, overall today, Charlie Batch has had great pass protection.
He's been sacked once. That was by Kruger. And there is a challenge flag out, which I don't think is winnable. Baltimore's already used one timeout in this half. Remember, Flacco had to take
Baltimore
one.
is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. Timeout.
Let's see how they win this one. But Al Riveron will take a look at it. Well, the Ravens challenge. Jones was coming in on Batch. Kay Moyatu, whose brother Chris used to play for the Steelers. And it looks clearly like an incomplete pass. I thought maybe at first they're challenging that he was down for a sack.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. It is an incomplete pass. The passer's arm was going forward. Second down. Baltimore will be charged with a timeout, and that's also the first challenge.
Well, you really know there's, do you hear the crowd? They didn't even disapprove, so you know it was a clear cut.
Actually, I can barely hear the crowd this whole second half. And again, it's a raucous sight. Usually,
yes,
but it's not at the moment.
Well, you got to give them something to cheer about, Jim.
Pittsburgh has the momentum. Coming back from 13-3 down in the second. Second down and 10. Ravens left with one timeout after losing the challenge. And there's that Baltimore defense. Jameel McLean backs him up a yard. Get coverage of every game while on the go this holiday season with NFL Mobile. Watch every touchdown from Sunday afternoon games with NFL Red Zone. $5 a month. Call ** NFL to download or go to NFL.com/mobile. And McLean doing his best to get this crowd going. Looking for a little support here on 3rd and 11 for Pittsburgh. It's Sanders, and he lost the ball. He had an open field ahead of him, and it squirts into the hands of the Ravens. He was shocked. It was wide open. He might have taken it the distance with his speed. Recovered by who else? Ed Reed. Emmanuel Sanders slashed across the middle.
It's the blitz. It's picked up. What a job by the offensive line. It is a completion. He had control after the catch, and he trying to switch arms. Jim, I think that's why the football got away from him.
That's exactly right. It's the whole thing they were talking about off the 5 fumbles last week. Have the football in the correct arm, and he was trying to get it to the outside away from that closest defender, Kerry Williams, and it slipped on the transfer. Of course, on a turnover, everything can be reviewed. It is reviewed and validated. So they're going to make sure that he had control, that it was a catch.
Well, is it a catch? In my opinion, I think it is. You watch at full speed. Emmanuel Sanders, good blocking, catches it, got control. Oh, and after he takes 2 full steps, an element of time goes by. He makes a football move, whatever you want to say. Slow motion. 1, 2, 3. Complete control of the football. Trying to switch it to his left arm. That's when he lost control. I think it was a catch. And a fumble. Took him a while.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. There was a reception. The runner loses the ball. And a clear recovery by Baltimore. First down, Baltimore.
For Sanders, his 3rd fumble in the last 2 games. The 2nd lost fumble, 2 of the 3. And this is the view that he had. I mean, you'll look up and this is what he saw.
Oh, boy. You know, when you hear, oh, if he'd caught it, he was gone. You know, we hear that a lot. And a lot of times it's not true. But I think that time, you were right. We saw that angle. Looked like he was going to score.
Up ahead. It's Pierce for a first down and a gain of 11. We've got an update. Back to JB in New York with Boomer.
Denver has an MVP candidate on the defensive side.
Well, that would be Von Miller. And right here, Mitch Unrein forces Josh Freeman into an errant throw. Von Miller takes it back for the touchdown. Denver leads 28-13.
Jim Nantz, Phil Simms.
Yeah, the Broncos were down 10-7 halfway through that game. Broncos clinched the West with a victory or a San Diego loss. That Cincinnati game, of course, crucial for these two playing here. They're keeping an eye on, and a flag is out. Especially when you start talking about the Steelers and where they're going to fall into this mix. With Indianapolis winning today for an 8th win. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, maybe
there is no foul on the play. Number 78 did report as an eligible receiver. No foul on the play. 2nd down.
Those 3, talking about the Colts, the Steelers, the Bengals, went after 2 wild card berths. There are others in the hunt. And how about how crucial will that Denver game be here on December 16th on CBS? As they division leaders, it's going to be like a whole new division is going to be set off with these ones at the top. You have big separation in each one of their individual divisions. Flacco looking everywhere. And brought down from behind by Ziggy Hood. Sack for Hood. 2nd of the year.
Well, Simile is to the right tackle. Blocks his guy, Ziggy Hood, very well. How long can he hold it? Joe Flacco, nobody was open down the field, and he realizes he can't outrun Ziggy Hood. But the coverage, Anquan Bolden, no. Top of the screen, nobody was open. Inside technique by Keenan Lewis. You see the seam going down the field. That's cover 2.
Tandon Doss at the top of the screen. 3rd and 11, and here they come. Flacco got it away to Pitta. He has the first down to the Pittsburgh 34. Dennis Pitta's first catch of the day is good for 19.
I think there had to be a blown assignment here. It's a little blitz. Who was supposed to, well, know what it was. They were blitzing, and the defenders were running out trying to catch the quick throw underneath. Joe Flacco held it. Pitta gets wide open.
And Flacco going for the touchdown. Got Smith, incomplete. Corey Smith, Cortez Allen back there defending for Pittsburgh.
Boy, Torrey Smith, when you watch him, you know, Jim, as you watch him just he is arms, elbows, knees going down the field. Very aggressive as he runs the routes. And when he does catch the ball going across the field, a terrific runner with the football in his hands. That time, though, you look at that replay and even live, he should have caught the ball.
2nd and 10. Take the foot toss with a Rice maneuvering. Ray Rice takes off inside the 20, and he's going in for the touchdown. 34 yards. Ray Rice with the shift, and then all the way to the end zone after that untouched.
Well, Ray Rice just showed nice composure, didn't panic as a running back. Watch him take it off to the right side, nothing is there, and how about that cutback? And once he makes that move, that just makes you a premier NFL runner when you get out in the open and outrun everybody to the end zone.
Both Baltimore touchdowns come off turnovers. Off the Sanders fumble. It's Rice. And the Ravens are back up 7. 63 yards in 6 plays. Rice the final 34 for his 8th touchdown of the season. He's talking to his running back coach, Wilbert Montgomery. You guys, of course, many of you will remember his great days running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. John Harbaugh called Rice's conversion last week on 4th and 29. He ran it final 28 after the little dump-off pass. The greatest play I've ever seen or been a part of. Made a pretty good one right there, too. Doesn't go into the greatest ever category, but it gets him the lead. And look at that counsel by Will Johnson. You take a knee.
Good job by Johnson.
Yeah, he implores Rainey, you're not running out with it. The miscues, both of them have led to touchdowns for the Ravens. The pick led to the touchdown. The missed opportunity with Wallace. Who knows, that could have been 7 the other way if Sanders had a firm grasp of it on the shifting of the hands.
Well, one thing, when you watch this game today, it had over the one that was played 2 weeks ago. The offenses are creating many more opportunities for themselves. Throwing the football down the field, being aggressive with double moves.
The crowd has come to life for sure. First down, and Dwyer nowhere to go, and he just falls. As Pollard really busted up that play, loss of 3.
Well, when you look at Bernard Pollard, John Harbaugh says he's the enforcer. There's no doubt about it. Very good at when he gets up near the line of scrimmage. Can play just like a linebacker. And good enough, of course, to read the passing game when he plays a deep safety.
Second and 13. And back. Able to get it away. Beautifully done. And Antonio Brown slips, but it's a big gainer to the Ravens side of the field. Gain of 34.
It's a nice, again, the pass protection. Baltimore's pass rush, not really one of the best in the league. Charlie Batch gets the extra time, buys it. How about that throw on the run? Except for the big miss that Charlie Batch had in the back of the end zone to Mike Wallace. He's been on target with every other throw. What a good job by Antonio Brown adjusting the route, finding the open space. That's what he did.
Antonio Brown back after missing 3 straight games, out with an ankle. An injury suffered against the Giants. From the 49 of Baltimore. Batch connects to Wallace. Second down and 4. And Dwyer again trying to make a move just to create something because nothing is there at first pass and no gain. Again, Army, Navy coming up next week. on CBS. Third and 4. Sanders unable to hold on as Pollard lays him out. Sanders is up on his feet, but he should have had it. Fourth and 4. And Butler with the fair catch earned by Tandon Doss. And Sanders is shaken up on that bench. We apologize for these little audio issues here.
Sanders is just mad at himself, Jim, because I know Pollard hit him hard, but he'd already dropped the ball before Pollard made the hit. So, you know, I know it's tough, but it's always best to take the attitude, hey, I'll catch the next one. Right. Around the end, and where will they mark it? Good for another first down. 10-yard run by Rice. Well, you got to give a lot of credit when you look at this game today. A rookie right tackle. Osemele, what a job he's done today. Matt Burke, he's been in the league so long at center. But having one of his best years in the last 4 or 5 that I've watched him, he's really played well. Then they got a second-year guy at left tackle, Ja Reed. And I know this. You got to get used to each other as an offensive line, work as a group. But the Ravens are excited about the future, how good they think they can be.
And that's going to back up Baltimore 5.
False start, number 44, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Like nobody wanted to call that a penalty. Was there a delay there?
It did take a while, yeah.
They had 3 people move. I think
everybody was in shock.
It was on Vontae Leach, who was actually a little shaken up on that last play, that run by Rice. Maybe he was trying to get a quick jump off that snap. It cost him 5.
I know one thing that the Ravens talked about a lot. If they can have sustained drives, stay on the field. The Steelers are not like most defenses in the league.
Oh, Flacco was put on him, and they ruin down. They say foot got to him, and this crowd is furious over that. They thought it was an early whistle, but they are going to give Larry Foote the sack.
Well, it's a little cross split up the middle. That's what the Steelers, their favorite blitz is. They're just trying to protect the quarterback here. Looks like he can't get away, can't throw the football. But we've seen Joe Flacco already this game make a play just like that, Jim.
No, I'm really surprised.
Well, that in control, in the grass, that is not a rule anymore.
That's right.
That's right.
So in the old days, that would
automatic.
It's automatic. You'd see it all the time. 2nd and 20. Jacoby Jones. And that's James Harrison holding him to a 5-yard gain. It's going to run out the third quarter. Baltimore has the lead at 20-13. Back after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. Start the fourth quarter. Jim Nance, Phil Simms, Lance Barrow, our producer, and Mike Arnold directing this great rivalry game. These two teams that the last 2 years have finished 12-4. Each of them marching on to the playoffs, but a spread this year between the two. Ravens coming in at 9-2, Pittsburgh 6-5. 3rd and 15. And Flacco looking for Jacoby Jones and knocked down. Beautifully covered there by Keenan Lewis.
Joe Flacco had good protection that time. That allowed him to throw it down the field to Jacoby Jones. The last time they played, the Ravens had a lot of trouble picking up some of these moving blitzes by the Steelers. Well, that's not been the case today. They've done a great job blocking for Joe Flacco.
Sam Cook with Morgan Cox snapping it back, third-year man from Tennessee. Brown from the 30, little hesitation, and nothing ever develops. And Reed makes another special teams play. There is a flag out.
During the return, holding number 26 by the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Will Allen. Grabs him by the hair.
That was a definite hold. There's no doubt about that.
Laquan Williams. Word up from the Pittsburgh bench. Shoulder injury suffered by Emmanuel Sanders on that drop ball across the middle. Questionable to return. They split out to the near side. Johnson, and now they shift him back behind Charlie Batch, who will go with Dwyer. And they reached and tried to strip it. Dwyer firmly holding on for a gain of 6. Again, Army-Navy. Next Saturday, the Home Depot College Football on CBS. All glory, the Army-Navy game starts with college football today. Had a chance to visit last week with the Naval Postgraduate School out in Monterey, California. A lot of talk as always. Army-Navy, all of our...
The season every year boils down to that game, Jim, no matter what.
Touches so many. Second down and 4. Dumped off to Dwyer. Boy, he was tough to bring down. McClain had a shot at him. He took in an extra 5.
Well, we talked about it to start the game today that they want Jonathan Dwyer to become the workhorse and demand 20 to 25 carries a game. He's run the football like that so far, and nice job of running with the ball after the catch.
Yeah, what do you think of his effort here today?
Well, it's been outstanding. I think Mike Tomlin delivered a message to the running backs this past week. He delivered another one today when Rashard Mendenhall was inactive.
43 yards rushing by Dwyer, including a touchdown. And now 3 catches. But it's Redmond. Redmond finding a little crease up the middle and plowing ahead to the Baltimore 40. Kelvin Beachum was one who helped clear that opening for 24.
Well, these fullbacks, watch Will Johnson get the block up inside, and it just sets up the whole run. You can almost hear the block, and Redmond cuts it up behind the block, and then across the field. Looks like the game we saw Isaac Redmond have against the New York Giants. Ran it up inside, ran it hard, and got good gain.
Yeah, he had 147 yards and a touchdown on that win at New York. He stays in there. You set it down. Baltimore 40. And Batch is going down. Arthur Jones. He had 2 sacks last week. He got another one here.
He's been close today a couple times. And I think that's another big surprise in this Baltimore Ravens defense, the fact that Arthur Jones, he's not playing today. Donnell Ellerby has stepped in at linebacker and had a tremendous season so far, too.
Older brother of Chandler Jones, the rookie first-rounder on that defensive line for the Patriots.
Good job by the defense, passing receivers off, waiting for them to come in your territory.
Chris Rainey enters the game on offense for the first time. 2nd and 13. And it goes to Miller, and he's got the first and 10 more. Their offense has really been going strong since they got Miller into the game in the second quarter. Got him active.
Here's the tight end, Jim. Yeah, you're right. They're using him. They fake the screen outside. The linemen pull out with the running back. So what's the defense going to do? They're going to chase the running back and the pulling lineman, and that allows Heath Miller uncovered up the middle of the field.
And by the way, Emmanuel Sanders is back out there. We told you they had sent up word it was questionable with a shoulder. He's in a slot to the right. And the 1st and 10 from the 20. Batch to the end zone, and it is intercepted. It's Ed Reed, and he's going to run it out. He's the all-time leader in return yardage. And he could have been decked at the 1. Instead, he's out to the 27. His 61st career interception in the regular season, which happened to be one behind Dick LeBeau, the Pittsburgh D coordinator. There it is, Ed Reed with his 61st career interception. And again, he's the all-time NFL leader in return yards off the picks.
Wow, isn't that amazing? In this day and age, somebody, Dick LeBeau, still up there.
Yeah.
All the numbers we see in sports.
So that ball deflected, but still caught by Bolden. And James Harrison holds on to him.
Well, let's look at this interception, Jim. Here's Heath Miller's going to go down the seam. Here's Ed Reed. Just watch Ed Reed, how he plays the 2 receivers coming up the field. If Emmanuel Sanders would have kept going, I believe Heath Miller's going to be wide open. But Ed Reed, one of the best center fielders there has ever been in the National Football League, reads the quarterback and makes the play.
Boy, decided to run it out. Dwyer had him at the 1, but he was able to shake it off. There's a nice stick by Polamalu. Ray Lewis was there. Of course, in this very game, you got a 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year in Lewis. Reed won it 1 year. Harrison's won it before. Troy Polamalu's won that honor before. Suggs last year. 3rd and 5. Ball's out. Ball is out and recovered by Ziggy Hood. Harrison stripped it. So the Steelers get it right back.
Well, James Harrison gets this sack and the strip of the football because he keeps working. And the coverage down the field, once again, that's what you need. If you want to sack the quarterback, sometimes you need good coverage to give the players an extra beat to get to the quarterback, and James Harrison did it that time.
So they exchanged turnovers in 1 minute and 18 seconds. Flacco had been stripped here in that game a couple of years ago by Polamalu at a crucial late juncture. And Harrison gets the ball back. Recovered again by Ziggy Hood. With 9:41 to play. Good grab, and again, Brown slipped for a moment, and he's pushed back by Corey Graham. Remember that play by Polamalu here? Talk about a game changer, 2010.
Well, I've seen so many Polamalu plays. I saw an interception here before by him, or there in, I should say, in Pittsburgh.
That's right, AFC title game.
Oh,
Ran it back
yes.
for the touchdown.
Sent him to the Super Bowl.
Second and 7. Got his man inside the 10. And that is Emmanuel Sanders.
Beautiful throw by Charlie Batch. Good job of looking right. Finding the receiver, coming back. Watch, going to look to the right side. Doesn't like it. Now watch the sidearm delivery into the throwing lane, and it's right on target. That's what receivers want. When they get across in the middle of the field like this, they want you to throw it somewhat low so they can catch it and protect themselves.
And a gain of 17. Setting up 1st and goal. Try to get Dwyer in again, but no gain. It's been a long time since Charlie Batch threw a touchdown. Got to go back to 2010 at Tampa Bay. His last touchdown pass in the NFL went to Hines Ward. He threw 3 on the day, 798 days ago. Splits out Miller to the far side. Second and goal, rolling out, and Batch has Miller. Does he have the pylon? Touchdown!
Boy, what a play. When I saw Charlie Batch go on this rollout and the offensive line was giving ground, I said, man, this doesn't fit what they do. But what a nice throw on the run. And how about that play by Heath Miller?
No kidding.
You know, you talk about, you said it earlier, Jim, Heath Miller, such a part of this offense. Now, he's not out of bounds, gets it to the pylon, that is a touchdown.
I watched the left foot, though. It's going to be close, and of course, every touchdown has to be verified.
The left foot?
Okay.
Oh, I see. Did that touch there?
Right now, it's awfully close. Quite an athletic play by Miller, trying to set a new career high with a 7th career touchdown. Watch that right foot.
That's a great shot. He's in the end zone before it touches that time. From the side, you can see when his foot hits the ground. But I was just going to say, Heath Miller, Todd Haley is a offensive coordinator who believes in throwing the football to the tight end. So they're going to review it.
The ruling on the field will be reviewed.
Yeah, this one, we're talking fractions. Riveron will take another look. Right as Heath Miller in for the touchdown. Did he get the pylon before the right foot touched out of bounds? Touched.
Here's a great shot. Watch the right foot. When does it touch? Touchdown, and the foot is still off the ground. That's the view to me that lets me believe it's a touchdown.
The ruling on the field stands as called. It is a touchdown.
Touchdown off a 2nd and goal from the 7.
Yes.
5th catch for Miller. And Batch with his Steeler best, now 231 yards. And he has that first touchdown pass since that game back in 2010. That ties it at 20. Sweezum, 3rd tie of the game. Roethlisberger, the pat on the helmet to the man who's playing quarterback today. Coming off the strip sack by James Harrison. Recovery by Ziggy Hood 4 plays later. Batch finds Heath Miller to tie this game. Now Jacoby Jones hopes to get the chance to return one. He averages 35.8 yards per return. 2nd to Percy Harvin in the league. But they're not going to give him that opportunity. It's a touchback. Today in the NFL, some of the early headlines include the last play stunner by Luck and the Colts, who go to 8-4. And the Patriots have clinched the AFC East. And the Chiefs today win that game against Carolina. Todd Haley, the former head coach of the Chiefs, and he was the head coach. His first year there was the rookie year of Javon Belcher. He brought him into the league. To Leach. And he's active in this passing game today. He's got 12.
Boy, is he ever, and that is a great drive starter. I love it when coaches have something, a little misdirection or something different to get their offense rolling. That's what you need. I call them coach 'em up plays. Easy play for Joe Flacco, a no-brainer, and a good first down.
I think the Ravens are thinking, I mean, they know they're going into the game here that Pittsburgh, even though it's shorthanded, you know, they're going to give them a fight. But to have them down 10 early, and now here you are, Late fourth, game tied. As Flacco rolls out. He's got Smith down the field. And it's overthrown.
Well, even Joe Flacco on a full sprint, trying to throw the football 50 or 60 yards down the field, that is not going to happen. But Torrey Smith does a good job. Joe Flacco, if he could have pulled up, that's what he wanted to do. If he could have pulled up, he could have driven this football down the field, and Torrey Smith would have had a chance. But to be on a run like that and to throw it so far down the field across your body, that is almost impossible. But to answer your question, Jim, 13-3. The Ravens had to be going, we got it, because we got the backup quarterback in there, but they let it get away.
Incomplete on 2nd and 10. That was Doss. Again in the AFC, Houston clinches a berth today. Did not lock up the division. New England clinched the East. San Diego fighting to stay in this. Has 13-10 lead over Cincinnati. Out west, if the Ravens manage a victory here, they'll not only be in the playoffs, they also could win the division if San Diego beat the Bengals today. But it's a 3rd and 10 for Baltimore. Foot coming in from behind, and it's incomplete. Pass in the direction of Pittsburgh.
Boy, the crowd, I think, could have alerted Joe Flacco that time. They saw Larry Foote, number 50, coming from the left side. Ray Rice doesn't get in front of him, and he just outruns him around the corner. But you can hear the crowd roar, and Joe Flacco alertly just gets rid of the football in time.
A short series for the Ravens. And Brown as we return it from the 10-yard line. He's swapped near the 15-yard line. Albert McClellan down there, along with Bynes after a 57-yard punt. The Ravens haven't blown a double-digit lead at home since back in 2004. What a performance by Pittsburgh here today. Trying to knock off the rivals. They'll get Roethlisberger back next week. They'll play 3 of the last 4 at home. Redmond. Got about half the players on the field in that pile. Wednesday in prime time. JB, Chris, Phil, you guys will be talking it up as we get to this playoff drive here in the month of December. Inside the NFL Wednesday on Showtime. Mike Lombardi will be there mixing it up with you too. Peter Schrager, the whole crew. As Roethlisberger.
It's like you can't stand to watch.
It does. 2nd down and 8. Hey, what a tackle. What a reach out play by McPhee to hold him to 1.
I know why they run the football. They have, Jim, because the Ravens are expecting pass. And they got their pass rushing unit, if you want to call it, in there right now. So the Steelers said, well, let's try and run it.
Suggs dragging a little bit. The right arm comes out at the 5-minute mark. 3rd and 7. Steelers have all 3 timeouts. Out of the gun, Batch, and waiting for it. It's Wallace. Wallace had position there off of Shockey Brown. Picks up 14 and a first.
Oh, and he gets hit. That time, Charlie Batch hung in there. McPhee, I think it's McPhee, just hits him square.
Ooh. It was
not
top. I think Batch is a little wobbly.
Boy, just barely gets to the sideline. Nice job by Mike Wallace, but what a job by Charlie Batch standing in there.
His backup is Brian Hoyer today, as Leftwich is also inactive. Over to Wallace. And Wallace picks up 7. And he looks to be shaken up. got doubled up there by Williams and Graham. Now that play before, after he was hit by Nata, he said, hey, I got hit in the head here, guys.
You know, I didn't see him get hit in the head. I just know it was a tough shot he took. Elodi Nata, we've seen the tapes of him when he played rugby, Jim, just big. Of course, he's so big. We were just talking about it. He walks out in the field. He doesn't walk, he waddles. But he can run.
This is what happened with Wallace. He rolled his right foot, ankle.
That brings in Plexico Burris to take the place of Mike Wallace.
Yeah, Burris has not seen action until this point. 3.5 to go. 2nd and 3. And Redmond, I'll tell you what, he may have fought all the way for a first down. It's going to be close.
Well, no matter what happens in this game today, I think the message that was sent to the running backs for the Steelers, it was well received. And when you look at what they've done today, Isaac Redmond, Jonathan Dwyer, they've both run hard. They protected the ball. They haven't gotten close to fumbling it.
Tomlin saying that's a first down, and it looked like where they marked it, he had it, because Wallace is going to come right back into the game. Plexico made his return a week ago at Cleveland.
It could be a nice addition, Jim, to this receiving core because they don't have any big, tall guys that can, make certain plays or give the defense trouble. The jump passes, the back shoulder throws, and nothing else, just a big target for a quarterback to throw to.
I'll tell you, Redmond, got to give him credit for how hard he worked to keep churning and churning for the chains.
I think he actually gained about another half yard. They didn't give it to him.
Got a first down. And they've got Rainey, who has had fumble issues. Fumbled at the Giants at Cleveland. He's in the backfield. Good toss. Brown. Pushed out by Brown. Antonio catches it. Shockey shoves him out. Gain of 4. Next Sunday, regional action on CBS. Main game, San Diego at Pittsburgh. Some will get the game late. Miami at San Francisco. All, of course, starts with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines at noon Eastern time.
When you look at this game, too, we talked about Charlie Batch. You could see it in him last night that his resolve. I thought he would play well today because he's been in the league, like you said, 15 years. And all in all, I think he's been really solid at quarterback today.
Completed his last 6, make it 7 since being picked. And Brown has the first down, and they're on the Baltimore side of the field.
Thought that pass was going to be knocked down, but they do these very well. I like the little different look. A play-action fake, wide receiver screen. Batch gets it over the top. Emmanuel Sanders trying to make the block. And Beachum, the right tackle. When you throw those wide receiver screens, right or left, it's the tackles who can really spring it. And you watch every team that runs it. The wide receivers block, but the tackle pulls out there and tries to open up the hole for him.
And this is smart. No need to run a play on the north side of the 2-minute warning.
Good point.
Baltimore, remember, has only 1 timeout. Pittsburgh has all 3. On the way, the Broncos topple Tampa and now clinch the division out west. So 3 of the 6 AFC playoff spots. There's no order to it, but 3 spots have been taken today. Houston, New England, Denver, all in. 2 minutes to go. First down from the Ravens, 44. This would be some win by the Steelers. They can pull it off. Batch throws, completes. Hit Wallace. And there's a flag down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 99 on the defense. A 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Well, now they're really deep in field goal range. They didn't get the call against Nada, but they do against Kruger.
When the quarterback's in the pocket, you get that 1 step. You don't get a 2 steps, time, and then hit him in the back like that. But how about that protection? And Charlie Batch finally finds Mike Wallace open on the left side. But overall, all day today, too, for the Steelers. Great protection for Charlie Batch. And when it's not there, he's moving around very well to throw it.
That is Shockey Brown, second-year man from Texas, getting some attention here. And now with the penalty, the ball's at the 19. Let's start talking about the timeout game and clock management here, because the Ravens, again, have only the one timeout. They used one with 9 minutes to go in the third, plus they lost a challenge.
Yeah, it just comes down to this now. The Ravens are just hoping they miss the field goal or they block it.
Free floor.
So now that the Steelers are in scoring range, the Ravens' lack of timeouts is definitely going to be hurtful. This is the extra 15 yards.
Yeah, I just, Jim, I wanted to look at it one more time, and I said, okay, but it is a late hit.
Start with the last timeout of the half.
And they just lost their last timeout because in the last 2 minutes, they had to come out and attend to Shockey Brown, who ended up jogging off the field. So the Ravens can't do anything about the clock now with 1:46 to go.
Because the clock was running, that's why they lost it, Jim. If the clock had been stopped, they wouldn't take the timeout away from it.
Whistles first. Charlie Batch doing a little officiating.
False start, number 53, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
But he didn't have the right call.
That's a good call, Jim. Marquise Pouncey. The blitzer's coming up near him. Anticipates the snap count. Jumps offside.
Sweeson, who already has 2 game winners this year against Philadelphia, against Kansas City. Setting it up to give him another chance. First and 15. As Dwyer runs into a whole bunch of bodies. Line of scrimmage. And again, Suggs is out. He's been taken to the locker room. He was injured at the start of this drive, which began back at the 15-yard line. If Mike Tomlin and his team play this right, they ought to be able to run it down to just a last-second field goal attempt to win it.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And if you look at it, Jim, it's going to be what, about a 41-yard field goal try. So that's not a gimme by no means.
Well, Sweezen's made 27 straight inside the 50. Second and 14. Wire again for no gain. So it's still about the same yardage you talked about. Sweezen made a 46-yarder in the opposite direction earlier in this game. What we saw in warm-ups.
Yeah, but I'll say this. It's the one time in football when you look at place kickers, the field goal kicker, when they come out there, Jim, where pressure can